Hi everyone, in this tutorial we learn how to create a module and function in Python. But first, what are module and function? So a module is just a Python file containing definition and statement. Python definition, for example, function definition, class definition, variable definition, and statements is just a line of code to tell Python to do something. For example, we have if-else statement, comparison statement, and so on. And the file name is the module name with suffix .py appended. So this is quite special in Python. We don't have an explicit module name definition, but it's in the file name. So a function is a series of statements which return some value to a caller. And when should we use Python module and function? There's many reasons that we should use function. For example, if we need to do the same task several times, instead of copying and paste the code in several places, and this is challenge to update our code later, and it's even prone to error. So we just use the function in this case and call it. We can reuse it whenever we want. And modularity, it means that we can use function to split a very complex task into smaller functions, and in an ideal case, each function should perform a single task and the function should be as simple as possible. And function can be easily tested in isolation, making our code easier to debug. And for module, we can use module to group related function, classes, and variables together. This helps our code clean and readable. And for namespace management, module create a separate namespace, preventing name clashes between variable and function. And for code sharing, if we have a module, we can easily share it with others. So they just need to import and use it. And what are the relation between module and function in a package? So in a package could contain several sub-packages, and sub-package could contain module could contain several functions, classes, variables. But in this tutorial, we will learn about how to create module and function. So in general, we can call a function by calling the package name dot subpackage name and then dot module name and then dot function name. And so this is an example of a package. For example, sound in here is the top level package, and we have the subpackage formats, and subpackage formats contains several modules. For example, the first module is wayred.py is a wayred module, and in this module we have several functions. And how to create function and module? So it's very easy. We just need to create a Python script and we write some functions, and then we save this script as a module name .py file. And then we need to add the file path to the search path, and then we just need to import and use it, which we will learn now. Function with, and this is my Python file, for example. Now I will create a function to sum two numbers. So the general syntax is definition of function, and then function name, for example, should be in a small letter with underscore sum two number. And the arguments, the first argument is a, and what is the type of this argument? So I say that this should be float. And the second argument is b, and this should also be float. And the return is also float. So float. And then my result, I create a new variable, just say equals a plus b. What should I return? Return. So I should return the result. And for example, I have another function to count the number from 1 to n and n to 1. So let's say function to count from 1 to n or n to 1. So general syntax is definition of function and the function name count n, let's say, and the argument should be n should be integer, and the other argument to say this should be count down or count up. So count down should be Boolean variable, and by default this is true, so it means by default it will count down. And it will not return anything, so this will return none. So first I check if countdown is true, and then I should loop over n to 1. So for I in reverse of range from 1 to n plus 1 and increment of 1. I just need to print out I. Otherwise, else, I just need to count for I in range of 1 to n plus 1 increment by 1, just need to print it. So I don't need to return anything. I can skip this line, but it's good practice to say that return nothing here. And now to use this function without a definition of module, we just execute this code F9, and now we can type in here in the console directly count, for example, n is 10, enter, so it count from 10 to 1, and by default countdown is true, so I just need to input one variable here. So I call a function, for example, count n, and here I put 10, execute it. So I can say this is fonts. Execute this, so this count from 1 to 10. But if we say this count n fonts 10, there will be error, or it does not do anything because it doesn't understand what is n and what is countdown. So if you do like this, you need to put the variable name in here, argument name in here, for example, countdown equals true and n. If you do explicitly like this, so the function will understand that n is 10 and countdown is false. And now you can run it F9, so it will work. Otherwise, if we don't write out the argument directly in here, we should follow the order. So the first is n, the second is false. So I just comment out this. And now I want to save this as a module. I can save it. File, save as. So I say to this example, C example, and my module, save. And now let's say that I turn this off. So I should add this to the Python search path. Go to tools, Python path. So I should add this here. And then example C example. Yes, already here. Add it. And now I can import the module. So import my module. So I execute this code F9, and then I call the function my module dot count n. For example, 10, it will work F9. So here you see, and I can also just say that import my module as, let's say, my module mm. And then I can also execute this line F9, and I can also do the similar task like mm.count, and then 10, it will print out the same thing, F9. Yeah. So in this case, I replace the name my module with in here. Or I can skip typing the module in here. I just say that import from my module, import everything. So F9, and we shouldn't do like this. This is not a good practice. For example, count n in here, just say 10, F9, so it will do the same thing. Or add two number, sum two number, like 10.0, 20.0. So don't need this. F9, 30. And I can also like form my module. I only need the function count, so I import count. So it is a good practice that you only import the function that you need, because here if you import everything and we have different module with the same function name, there will be conflict, or we don't know the function in which module. So in this case, we know that count is from my module. We can use the same command in here. So we can also replace the name of the function with other name. For example, from my module, import count as count, for example here. Execute this code, F9. So we just need count 10 in here, F9, the same. So this is a different ways of importing a module, and you can also use this to import a module in a package or importing a package. And in the module, let's open our module file again. Open our module file here, example, my module. Here you see that a bytecage folder will created whenever we import something from my module. So in this folder contains the compiled Python files of my module. So now just open, and in the Python module you often see this line of code, if underscore 2 times name underscore identical to main. Then it means that if you want to execute this module as a script in the command line, for example, you want to use the count and function in the command line, you should have this line of code. And then you want to input from the get input from the command line, you should import system, and then just use the function that you want, for example count, and then I want to get integer from input, system dot argument, and then the first argument. And now I just go to Anaconda PowerShell prompt, and I can use the function count in here, and also provide input to this function. I just go to the folder contains this module, examples, and then Python, this module name my module.py, and then I input 10 in here. So this command will get 10 in here and put into the count function, enter, and it will count from 10 to 1. For example, 100. So if we don't use this function, see what happened. Here we go to here again, there will be nothing. So we should use like this to make use of the function count in the command line. And we can still import the module as usual in here. There will be nothing happen. F9, yeah. Import my module in here. F9 still count 10 to 1. So this is all about Python module and function. Thanks for your interest in this video. Please subscribe to get update about my latest videos.